in this architectural diagram, you're going to use the major components to interaction purposes that you're going to communicate to the different components and layered architecture, the client server model. So you're going to use this particular model. So weather station is one of the example over here for the interaction system. So individual subsystems also it can communicate, and main system also it can communicate. The broadcasting is going to be there. Okay, in one system, if you're going to broadcast, you should go to the n number of locations. Okay, this is a high level architecture. So we can say that in your projects also you should write like this diagrams. This is a high level architecture. Inside the data is going to be more. So first is fault manager, configuration manager, power manager. Okay, communication link is there. Then communications. Then all these things are subsystems. Okay, data collection and instruments. So the instruments, there are hundreds of instruments will be there for that weather forecast system. Then data collection is going to be more. Okay, like pressure, wind, that directions and all these things. Okay, so those things are going to get collected here. The communications being made towards the satellite communications, the link is going to be given here. Okay, communication link. Then any faults are going to occur. Those things that you should consider. You have to configure the manager. Okay, so management system that you should configure it. Then more and more the power managers are going to be very powerful, because without power these things cannot be worked. Okay, so this is a high level abstraction of the system for the station. Just it shows that how this architecture data collection system it is. So data collection is, now how it is written, you see, data collection is the function. Okay, what this particular function does is it does the data collection. From where? From weather data. It is going to receive, it is going to transmit. The data is going to be received and data is going to get transmitted. This is a function. This function is data collection system. In this, you should identify which are the objects, which are the important objects that you will want to communicate. Okay, and it should get executed in the interactive process. Those things that you should consider. For the weather forecasting station, weather station objects, we have the object classes. It's a class definition which is going to be having the tangible hardware and data in the system. So hardware is also there and data are also going to be present in this. Then we have in the first, ground thermometer is there, anemometer is there, barometer is there. So these things are going to be used for the collection of the data, and it should be transmitted later. Then for this the hardware is also required and software is also required. Weather station is a completely hardware and software things are going to be present. As a station, it is going to be the interfacing environment between the weather station and the hardwares. So here you are going to use the use case model, because system is going to interact with the actors, or actors are going to interact with the system. The data collection, which is the weather data, is going to be encapsulated in the class. Okay, summarized in the form of instructions. Or we will be going to have the instruments are going to be there. From that it is going to get transfers. Here is the object class where the station is there. Now you see that there are all the functionalities: report weather, report status, power saver, okay, remote control. These are all the functions that it is going to be used. And the ground temperature, okay, then wind speed, wind direction, pressure, rainfall. These things are getting collected by the collect and summarize functions that it's going to act on these things, and you can be able to collect the data. This is object classes it is going to be basically. So you see that ground thermometer used for the temperature purpose. Then anemometer is used for wind speed, barometer is used for the pressure, wind pressure. Okay, so those things they are going to collect the data and it should be get executed. Okay, we will be going to design the models. So design model is anything that it is going to be first you collect the data and the objects are going to be there, object classes are going to be present, how these relations are going to be met. So these things are going to be checked with the SRS. SRS is going to specify all these things in detail. There are two types of models are there. One is a structural model and another is dynamic model. When the structural model is going to be present, then it is static, it is going to be static it is. So all the things are going to be intact. But it is comes to the dynamic model, the execution part or interaction part is going to be present in the objects. Some examples of design models are subsystem models. Okay, subsystems are going to be communicates between the groups. So that is one thing. Then the sequence model is there, which is the sequence of the functionality of that particular object, that it is the interactions of that it is going to be checked, it's going to be written, we can say. Then there is a state machine, state diagrams. So individual functionality of the objects that it is going to be presented in that. Then the other models like use case model, segregation model, generalization models, any diagrams which represents the designing of the architect of the system that can be used. So you can use the subsystem models. So here you are going to use the UML diagrams for the class diagrams, encapsulation whenever that it comes. It's an encapsulation concept. So you are going to use the class diagrams. Sequence model, so where the detailed information about that particular function that it is going to be executed in the that process is going to be shown in that. So already these things we have been discussed since on the start of this chapter, that is sequence models. So here is one example, it is there again. Okay, sequence diagram, it describes the data collection. One data collection was there in that. How this is being executed. Let us see. The information system is there. This is the actor. These are the functions. These are classes where there objects are found there. So how this is getting collected? First request is going to be made for the report to the set communication. Okay. So acknowledgement is going to come immediately. It is set. The report is set. But when this set communication is going there, report is going to be asked from the weather station, and that also it is going to give the acknowledgement, and the acknowledgement is passed to the information system. Then once you get that summary, that communication link, through the communication link you will be going to summarize that information in the weather data, and they will be going to give back to the acknowledgements. Then the report is going to be sent to the information system. Okay. Reply is going to be reported. So you can see, you can able to see all the information how that is getting communicated in this. I am requesting, immediately the response is going to occur in that. First request is there here, you see, request is there for the set communication, immediately it is acknowledged. Yes, I am taken your request and I am going to communicate with the weather station. Weather communication system report is going to be asked for the weather, then immediately it gives the acknowledgement for the communication, satellite communication. Okay, so report is going to be checked and it is verified and it's been taken. Now you see small thing in this, you should verify the lines which receiving lines, these acknowledgement lines, before this is going to execute, that it is going to be present before the next object is going to be called. Okay, so before that only the acknowledgements will be there. Now here also you see this line, before it is going to be asked for the next system, the acknowledgements are going to be present here. Okay, and here also after get system, immediately on the same line it is not there. So next line only the summarization is there, and the acknowledgement receives this line should not be before this particular line. because if